Um, Lighter colors, you can kind of see like the shadows and the creases and imperfections in the wall. And you can kind of, it gives you a sense of depth perception. So you know how big the room is. You have a sense of space. But in the case of really dark color, you can't see all those imperfections, and you can't really see where the corners of the wall meet each other. And it actually makes you kind of feel a bit dizzy, or it kind of feels like you're getting sucked in. You can't really see what's going on. Which I kind of like. No. See, you totally think I'm crazy or whatever. There is a much longer story to why I'm painting this wall this color. Um, and if you want to know why, you're just going to have to stick around. Haha, viewership. No, seriously, there were like 25 views on my first video, and I was like, 25 people? I don't even know 25 people who would bother to watch this, and I certainly only sent one link to my mother, and that was it. So thankfully the viewership is down to something of like not random people. Well, not random people, but you know what I mean. But I do have big plans for this wall, and dark blue is just the start. But today, since well, now that I've gone through all the pain of shooting this, and I've already gone over 10 minutes, so I'm going to split this into two parts anyways. Haha. I figured I'd talk a bit more about what I'm doing, and to be honest, I don't even watch my own videos, so I think last week I explained a little bit of why I'm separating myself from everyone, and I mean, part of it's always that I've, freaking G-string always goes out of tune. Drives me crazy. And it's like that on every guitar, it's not even just this guitar. I was so disappointed when I spent like $1,400 on a guitar and the G-string still doesn't want to tune properly. What was I talking about? Jesus. Right. Well, I mean, the reality of it is, if I look at you and you look at me and I'm in your life, it doesn't really matter who you are, if you're my mom or a friend or my sister or a cousin or my grandparents. And the bottom line is I've always been who you've wanted me to be. I mean, I thought about it when I was thinking about not taking that really big job that's coming up. And for the first time in a really long time, I lost sleep over work because it was a pretty big decision. Um, I think I would do a really good job, and if someone who can't do a really good job takes that position, which is entirely likely now, just based on who we have at the company, a lot of people are going to suffer for it. It affects a lot of other people, and it's going to affect me. I mean, in the worst case scenario, a year from now, I'm not going to like my job at all. And I'll have had the chance to take a job that I like, and now you know that I've turned it down. But, when it really comes down to it, how many times in my life, I mean, this is only a fair question for like my mom or something, but, different people have a different degree of sense on this, but how many times in my life have I ever turned down an opportunity or the opportunity to do something or to help somebody? And I don't know, I think my memory is generally pretty sharp. I don't forget a lot, and I don't know, I think if you sat my mom down for half an hour, you could pull like 5 out of her. And well, for those of you who don't have the background on my life, I've done a lot. I've always had a schedule that's been pretty packed since I was like 5 years old. So, I've always tried to do what was right. I mean, I'm a pretty by-the-book guy. I mean, I choose which books I follow, I guess. But, I mean, if you wanted me to be there for you, I was always there for you. If there was something that needed being done, I would always do it. Um, and it's not that I was completely unselfish. I mean, in the end, I knew that I was doing it for you, but that would also make me a better person. So, I mean, it's kind of a trade-off. I knew I was doing it for myself too in the long run, to be a good person, whatever. Um, all right, so I've forgotten this like 3 weeks in a row. Um, so I'm on the phone with my mom, and your son tells you, I'm not going to talk to you for a really long time, and please don't call me. That's the abbreviated version. I tried to say it a lot more nicely than that. So obviously my mom's a bit mad at me, but and rightfully so. I mean, I'm being a crappy son here. But, and Mom, I know you're totally watching this, and I asked you to send me photos of me from like different 80s, and you said they exist somewhere. There aren't a lot of photos of me, period, because I just never really cared for it. But I know some of them are just kind of hanging around in different places. So you're supposed to send them to me so I can tell you guys stories about my childhood, which I can still do without photos, but it's just not as fun, right? Anyway, so there's this story. I'm 5 years old, and I know I have to be 5 years old. There's a small chance I'm 6, but I'm like 99% sure I'm 5 years old. And there's these guys called the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. If you grew up in like the late 80s, early 90s kind of thing, and they were super awesome, and everyone loved them. Okay, everyone cool loved them, and I was cool. No. Right, so all these kids came over to my house and we wanted to play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so some of us got to be the Ninja Turtles, we got to be the good guys, and some of us had to be like Shredder and Krang, like all the bad guys. But there was nothing really to fight about. I mean, you could just kind of like fight for justice, but the whole thing at the time was, the whole like damsel in distress, April O'Neil, the reporter, kind of like caught between the two sides. And, we were all standing in a circle at my house, and, everyone looked at each other and were like, well, who's going to be April O'Neil? And I was like, well, there's no way any of the other guys want to be April O'Neil, and we're not going to get to play if no one's April O'Neil. So I'll be April O'Neil. And this is the most retarded analogy I've come up with in a really long time, but I guess I've always been April O'Neil. I'm really good at putting myself second. I'm kind of filling in. It's really more important to me that the job gets done rather than who gets the credit or the spotlight, or if I attend to my own needs. So I guess that's kind of what this is about. I don't know, for all intents and purposes, I've always been who you wanted me to be. And, well, I've kind of put in my time, and it's about time I started just worrying about myself a little bit. I mean, I'm always saving other people, but, who's going to save me? So, I've got my own dreams to attend to, and on Tuesday, or hopefully Tuesday, it's been like Wednesday or Thursday every time, and that's pretty lame with me. Hopefully I can get it out in time this time. I'll show you my dream, and everything it's taken to get there, all the pieces that have been required, and everything I've built over the last 20 years to get there, which I think is something pretty, well, I mean, maybe you'll understand once I explain it, but I think it's pretty epic, and I think it'll be exciting, and when I think about the positive part of it, it's, I'm really gung-ho. It's just going to be really depressingly exhausting and exasperating and frustrating sometimes, but if things came easy, why would it be worth it, right? And certainly I am Josh Long. For me to bite off something difficult means it has to be pretty big. Wow, that sounds super conceited of me. Anyways, see you on Tuesday.